this assignment. My name is Jordan Ogaki, and in this video I will be reflecting on the effectiveness of unit and lesson planning. This year as an EAL assistant, I have had the privilege of sitting in on the classes mainly of 3 different high school teachers. Each teacher had strengths and some points that they could probably improve upon. In this video, I will be talking about those strengths and weaknesses in regards to lesson planning, lesson and unit planning. So I will screencast to a PowerPoint slide here. Right here should be the one. And if I can pull up this one. All right, here we go. The first teacher that I want to talk about taught EAL classes, and she was very good about making projects and activities that were fun. Consequently, all of the students enjoyed her class, but the one point that she probably could have done better with, and I know that she would agree with this, is the fact that she didn't really have an overall plan, standards, objectives, units, and things like that. There were not units or objectives, and she mostly flew by the seat of her pants, and so consequently I don't think that her students got quite as much out of her class as they might have. Also, though they had a good time with the projects, it was probably difficult for them to point back at what they had accomplished or learned in class. So over the past few months, I've been working with this teacher to implement an EAL program with standards and objectives, and one of the first things that we decided to implement was having the students use Rosetta Stone. They use this at home, and this helps with their language basics. This software presents English in an ordered way with a game-like interface, and then the students have to do review. It also makes them pay attention to detail like spelling and grammar, and gives them immediate feedback when they make mistakes. Stuff that we can't do for every single student in our class immediately. And so this is very good for cover some of the parts of EAL that we can't cover on our own. Next, we decided to organize our units and vocabulary targets by the Oxford 3000. The Oxford 3000 is a list of more than 3,000 common words in English, and these are must-knows for our students regardless of their grade level or subject. So this is a good place to start for general EAL. Okay. Let's switch back to my face here. Okay. All right, and this is the first time that's worked, so that's great. We are also beginning to look at how to work the standards and objectives of the academic classes into our EAL support classes as well. Next, I want to talk about a second teacher. He is a teacher whose unit plans and learning statements are impeccable. He uses projects almost exclusively, and consequently what the students learn, they really grasp, and they can use it in the future. So that's great. I'll just give you a quick example. Switch back to the screen share of a project that he did recently. All right, let's share that. We'll go right here. And this, all right, this is when the middle school kids made a scale model of the solar system on the football field. So there is a picture of the entire project. There's a picture of the sun. It was just 4.6 centimeters. Jupiter was only 4.8 millimeters. Mars was 0.2 millimeters. Mercury was that speck of dust that you might see right there on that person's finger, 0.16 millimeters. And then they spread these across the football field with the sun down at this end and all the way out to Neptune, which is pretty close to where they probably put the goal on the soccer field there. So I think everyone was surprised to learn how tiny the actual planets are when compared to the space around them, and I'm pretty sure that will stick with the students. I know it stuck with me in the meantime. So, okay, switch back out of screen sharing. I'm stopping it right. All right, taking over. Okay, there we are. With a little bit more prep, I think that this teacher's lectures and those parts of class could be a little bit better. When lecturing the students don't often take very good notes in his class, and I think that a big part of this is that he doesn't write much on the board. With a little bit more prep, I think that his lectures could better support the learning that's going on in the class. Especially, he could use this time to bring forward the points that are most important and connect them with the learning statements explicitly. Also, if you were to write them on the board, even in bullet-pointed form, then it would help out a lot of the EAL students, which is actually most of our high school is on EAL at one level or another. So that would help a lot. So going from the unit plans, objectives are impeccable, but the lesson plans and the objectives for given lessons are a little bit, could use a little bit of work maybe. Okay, so the last part, I was able to get some video from a class by our math teacher. He is an experienced teacher and does a great job of lining up standards and objectives with his lessons. He also plans his lessons well. And the lesson I got the video from was just from last week, right at the end of our school year, as he introduced students to his class, which will start in the fall. So I'm going to switch to PowerPoint slide. Taking a moment here, and that's okay. All right, let's go back there. And I have that ready on YouTube. I think my computer is getting a little bit full. If I shut down some of these pages. Let's see if it will bring up the YouTube page for me. Sorry about this. Come on. A little bit of technical difficulty. Oh, it looks like we might have it here. Okay. And let's see if it'll play it for us. Okay. Basically, what we have here, the teacher had objectives. He had the students work on a little math trick, and he wanted the students to get involved with the math trick. That's number one. He wanted to check the skills of the new students. That's number two. And he wanted to see if any of the students could understand why the trick worked. For number two, they're checking the skills of the new students. He really wanted to see if they'd have that wow moment when they realized what the trick did. And so that's what this video shows. So let's take a look. Okay, I'm not sure that that is going to play for us. Doesn't look like it. Okay, my computer might just be getting a little bit bogged down here. So I'm going to switch out of the screen sharing. You know what? I'll just show you our last slide on the presentation. And hopefully it'll bring it up here in just a moment. I have realized through this course that I would like a little bit more powerful computer, and I need to save up and buy that hopefully this summer. So, all right, well, I'm just going to talk through the objectives then, because this does not seem to want to work for me. So I'll stop the screen share, and I don't know if the camera, oh, the camera switched back on for us anyway. So getting back to the point, if you would have watched the video right at the point where I shared it with you, one of the students said, "Wow," because she had got it. The student next to her leaned over to check what she had, and that student also had the right answer. The student to the left of the student who was checking said that basically she didn't understand, and so the teacher went over to help her through the rest of the problem. But really solving the problem wasn't even the point. The teacher learned which students were strong enough to make it through the long division that he had given them on their own without a calculator. And he was also able to figure out which students could finish the problem. And lastly, he was able to figure out, after the class, I should say, one student came up to him and basically checked about why, and she understood right away why the trick worked as it did. And so he could realize that he had a very strong student in his class as well. So to summarize, in the future, I hope to be a teacher like this. I want my lessons to be based on standards and objectives. I want them to include wow activities. And yeah, I hope that you enjoyed this video and have a great day.